Hello, my soul-seeking friends. It's Shanna. Thanks so much for listening to Sense of Soul podcast. Did you know that as a member of Sense of Soul Patreon, you get ad-free episodes? You will also be able to join me in our monthly live circles, listen to my mini-series, and much more. And you will also be helping support this podcast so that I can continue to bring you inspiring episodes twice a week with amazing guests from around the world. You can also show me some love and rate, review, and subscribe from wherever you're listening. Now go grab your coffee, open your mind, heart, and soul. It's time to awaken. Today on Sense of Soul, joining me again, I have Kat Kim. Kat has been on Sense of Soul podcast before. She's a transformational executive coach with a fierce and powerful and passionate voice. Kat is beautiful from the inside out, and I highly recommend you going back and listening to her past episode. Recently on Instagram, I had saw that Kat had posted asking for any help for those who were affected by the earthquakes in Turkey. I contacted Kat and asked her to come on Sense of Soul podcast to help support her call for action to help those in need. Since we've had Kat on our podcast, her journey has led her across the world, where she has a front seat to the devastation from the catastrophic earthquakes in Turkey. And today, Kat's joining us to share with us her experience of how this has affected her and those in Turkey, the aftermath of the catastrophic, deadly disaster, and sharing with us how it is that we can help. From Istanbul, Turkey, please welcome Kat Kim.
Oh my gosh, you look beautiful. Oh
my gosh, stop. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How's it going?
It's a shit show. It's a shit show.
I know, it's a shit show everywhere right now.
Yeah.
It is great to see you.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's so good to see you.
You know what? You have to tell me, because last time I talked to you, you were not in Turkey, honey. How did you end up there?
So the last time we talked was what, 2018? I don't even remember.
Yeah, it was a few years ago.
I had purchased a one-way ticket to go to Seoul, Korea. I was leaving America. Yes. I had ambitions to take my work global. I wanted to also get away from all the madness in America, and take my work and take it to different countries, different cultures. My father passed away 8 days before my departure. It stopped my trip. I had to stay back, but I gave myself 1 year to kind of clean all this up. And then I was going to go to Korea, but then the pandemic hit. Hit, and then nobody could go anywhere. We were all stuck basically for like 2 or 3 years, right? And this is going to segue into why I'm in Turkey. I had my bags packed in 2018, ready to go to Korea, but my father passed away 8 days before my departure. So my mind, my soul was already ready, like it had already left America. It was just my body was still there. And because of the pandemic, I couldn't go anywhere. But by the time 2021 rolled around, I was just anxious, just like everyone else, We were all anxious to get out, but I literally had my bags packed already. Like I had moved my mind. And interestingly, at that time, there was one country that was accepting American tourists at that time with very minimal travel restrictions. There were still travel restrictions all over the world. Definitely Korea had been shut off even for a long time. So I couldn't go there. But Turkey was accepting American tourists, but not even European tourists. They had to go through more loopholes, more hoops, because COVID had hit really bad in Italy and all these different countries in Europe. But for America, for some reason, it was easy for us to go there. And even though Turkey was on lockdown, like at 7 p.m., they locked down. On weekends, they locked down. As a tourist, as an American, I could roam around freely.
That's so odd.
It's so odd. But I just went there to get some air, to move, to get out of my little hole. Went there for 2 weeks, fell in love with the country. And I thought, oh my God, I could just come here at least I can come here. So the plan was that I would go back to America, pack my things and come back and stay for 6 months, figure out where to go afterwards while everything else started to open up. I was just kind of waiting for everything to open up. And slowly things did open up, but I ended up falling in love with this country. I ended up staying. It was only supposed to be 6 months, but now I've been here a year and a half.
You know that I've actually been studying Turkey over the past year. It's been part of my spiritual journey.
I just got chills. Oh my God.
Yeah, really? Because of the Hagia Sophia Cathedral and the city Nicaea.
Wow. Yeah.
That church was supposed to be the center of Christianity.
Wow. Yes, exactly. There's so much history here. I mean, I'm getting chills again. Turkey is one of the most underrated, one of the biggest hidden gems in the world.
Oh, I think it absolutely is. I mean, did you know? I didn't know that. I never knew that Christianity literally started in Turkey.
Oh, that's so wild.
You know, that's where like the Council of Nicaea.
Yeah.
You know, in Ephesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course, Istanbul was once Constantinople.
Yeah.
And, you know, Constantine. I tell you, the first thing I freaked out about when I heard there was an earthquake there was like, oh my God, St. Sophia Cathedral, which she has been burned down, destroyed million times and back again.
Yeah.
And I thought about that. And then I thought about being from Louisiana and all of the hurricanes that had come in, destroyed, killed many. And they just build it up again and they keep going. They're relentless people. And people would always say to me, why would they live there? You know, why wouldn't they move?
Yeah.
So there's something about the land.
It's holy land.
It is holy land.
And I keep getting chills. I was not expecting you to go here with this call. I didn't know this, that you had an interest.
My heart has really been affected because of the land itself and the people that are so relentless to that land.
Your heart. What you said is absolutely true. Okay, so I want to preface everything that I'm about to say and what I'm about to share about Turkey with, I am a foreigner here. I didn't know anything about the history or the language or the culture. I didn't know a lot about it until I got here. So my experience and what I'm sharing with you is really fresh. It's coming, and it might be, I mean, there's pros and cons to it, but I'm coming in with fresh eyes, green eyes. I'm experiencing this country and this culture, its spirituality, its religion in a way that is really, really green and new. And I'm seeing things and I'm learning things about this culture that I would never have learned had I continued to live in the West. And it's so beautiful. And like any religion, any spirituality, there's pros and cons, and there's the light and the darkness to it, depending on who's in power and who's using the religion to exert their power, which every single religion has been used to do so. But if you go back to the real text, the real teachings of each religion and each ancient spirituality, it all really teaches the same thing. It's love and it's oneness. And over here, there's something about Turks and the way they live that is so different from the Western world. And it is, they have a real sense ingrained in them, a sense of collectivism. Everything is together. People are together. They do things for each other with it's not transactional. In the West, everything is transactional, and I didn't realize how much it was until I got here. For example, in my experience in the West, it's like if you want someone to help you move, you say, I'll pay you $20, if I could use your car or something like that. It's very normal to make a transaction like, oh, I'll pay you $40. Can I borrow your truck or something? Over here, I have a good friend. He asked his good friend who hardly knew me and said, hey, can we use your truck? And he's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll help you. And it's not transactional at all. And that's just one small example, but people are just give here. And there's no questions asked. I don't even know where to begin, darling. I mean, this earthquake, I don't know what you guys are seeing in the West as far as the news. I stopped watching Western news even while I was in America.
Right. Yes.
So I'm guessing you guys aren't getting a lot.
Well, I was going to say they show very much the same scenes over and over. I've noticed.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
that seems to be something, and it's very dramatic. They only show the rescues of children that are alive.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. So another thing I want to say before I get into some of the details is the news, obviously in the West, we're skeptical of the news, but over here too, the news is not trustworthy. They're not fully reporting what's happening. I also want to say, and I don't know how much I can say, let me just say this. It is punishable by law for me to say something negative about a man in power right now. Yeah. So I'm very, very careful right now. And this is not a joke. They can take me and they can put me to jail. So let's just say, pretend like someone like Donald Trump was in power for 20 years. And this is what's happening here. And there's an election coming up, but he's playing around with the election date. Not supposed to do that. Not supposed to do that. And Turkey in the last year, when I got here in September 2021, in November, when I got here, it was $1 to 8 lira. This is the currency, 8 lira. Okay.
Oh, wow.
In November, there was an economic crash here as a result of many things, but it's also the pandemic had happened. Yeah. In 30 days, the lira went from $1 to 8 lira to $1 to 18 lira. It dropped that much within 1 month. It went up again to like 14 lira, but now because of the Russian-Ukrainian war, it's back to 18, almost 19 lira. This is within a span of a few months. So the value of the lira has dropped almost 50% in a span of a few months. So let me just put it this way. Let's say you're an American and you make an income of $3,000 a month. That's probably the average. I mean, of course, it varies. But imagine you are working 40 hours a week. You're making $3,000 a month. And then overnight, suddenly, you're just making $1,500 a month. You're working the same, but you're only making $1,500. Imagine the shock and the anger that you would experience if if the value of your money just dropped that much. That's what's happening. Okay. So then on top of that, because of this inflation, okay. So now everything costs, they're bringing up the prices. Like just the rest of the world, but they're bringing up the prices now. So now you're making half the money, but things are costing more. So this is financial trauma collectively that Turkey was undergoing already. Okay. This is massive. This is already causing so much distress, depression, anxiety as a culture. This was happening. This was
already happening before.
This was already happening, and it's a big deal. There's a looming election that's coming up. Many people are pointing fingers at the person and that he made the mistake for the lira to drop this much. The country is split half and half. It's very much
like America.
It's very similar to America. The vibe is very, very similar. It's uncanny. Of course, it's different politics. The history is different.
Right.
The vibe, of course, it's so similar. Completely between old traditional conventional views and a person in power that's trying to like build on that versus a more liberal progressive side that wants to move forward, that wants to like grow and evolve. Total clashing.
God.
But even more so than what we experience in America. I mean, like,
yeah, right.
So now we have people who are absolutely just hopeless because of the lira and what's happening. There's no job security. People are hungry. There's been bread lines. Where I am in Istanbul, I don't see much of it. I'm very lucky to be where I am in Istanbul, but all around Turkey, it's not a good situation. So tension was high already, sister. Tension was high already. And then the election coming up. So this year already, before the earthquake, people were on edge and thinking, oh my God, what is going to happen after this election? Blah, blah, blah. So also let me backtrack and say, Turkey is the country, the country that has accepted the most refugees. So we're surrounded by so many countries here. We've accepted 3 to 4 million Syrian refugees, and just in the last several years, it's changed the demographic of Turkey. Turkey, just for reference, is about the size of Texas, about 16% bigger than Texas, but very similar to Texas. Okay, so imagine 3 to 4 million people, coming in. Turkey doesn't have the infrastructure to accept these people in, create a process, a system of organization. So now there's tension between Turks and Syrians. Okay, understandably so. I'm not taking sides. I'm just seeing this totally objectively.
Yeah.
Then we have the Russian-Ukrainian war suddenly. And we have an influx of Ukrainians and Russians coming in. Understandably, they don't want to be where they are. And I have witnessed just within the last year or so being here, I have witnessed the demographics change with my very own eyes. It's just been a year. I see more Russians now. I see more Europeans coming in. And interestingly, because so many foreigners are coming in, they put a cap on the number of foreigners. First, they called it the 25% foreigner rule. Only 25% foreigners allowed in any neighborhood, and they brought it down to 20%. And now this is directly affecting me because now they want to open space for the Russians because they want to keep good relations with Russia. So now they're not accepting a lot of other Europeans and Americans into the country. So it's really interesting, like I'm directly affected by everything. America is so insulated. When something happens, you don't feel it. But over here, you just feel it right away. And partly that's and one of the reasons why this country is a transcontinental. So Istanbul is one of the very few cities that resides on 2 continents. It resides on Asia continent and European. Did you know this? Yeah, Istanbul, you just ferry ride, 20-minute ferry ride. You're on the European side, or you're on the European side, Asian side. Oh, wow. So, and it's situated in such a way that it's a very coveted piece of land. And that's why for centuries, people have been fighting for this land. And that's why, and according to my Turkish friends, that is why the Turkish people and the country and the economy has not been able to move forward proactively because they're always defending. They're always at war. They're always defending their land. And so Turks are ready to fight. They're ready to fight, and they will fight. They will fight for their country. But for so many hundreds of years, they've been in defense, trying to fight, trying to keep their land, and they haven't been able to progress forward. That's the beauty of this land. It's very highly coveted. Okay, so it's all of this is happening, and I didn't know this until last week. But Turkey resides on 2 very big major fault lines.
You didn't know?
No, I didn't know shit, girl. I didn't know shit about Turkey. I didn't know the language. I didn't know anything. I came here very ignorant. But like, I'm here to learn, and
by yourself, by the way, right?
Yeah, by myself. So this earthquake happens, and the magnitude of this earthquake, let me just backtrack. 2 months ago, I was woken up by shaking. At 4 a.m. there was an earthquake in Istanbul, and it was about like a 5.9 magnitude. I just felt the shaking and I went back to sleep. But it was pretty scary because in 1999 there was a huge earthquake here that killed about 17,000 people in Istanbul.
Oh,
So that happened. And then about a month ago, there was another earthquake in Izmir, which is about 5-hour drive south. And this was a magnitude of about 6.5, about 100 people died. There's earthquakes here. They happen a lot.
Right.
So when this one happened, when I first originally heard about it, I didn't think much of it. I just thought it was a smaller one. But when I started to see the numbers and the death toll, it happened on Monday morning, 4 a.m. By the evening, the death toll had gotten to 2,000. And my friend was telling me, this is going to be at least 20,000. And I thought this was a language barrier thing. I said, do you mean 20,000? And we were speaking Turkish and English. I was like, you got the number wrong. There's no way it could be 20,000. And he said, no, that's the minimum. That's the minimum. And that's when it really hit me. Oh my God, this is really big.
So that was just the first one.
And then there was a second one. I think there was a third one. We're talking about the size of, imagine United Kingdom, just the entire, I'm talking about the whole country. Imagine the United UK having an earthquake and the entire thing just collapsing, all of it. This is the size of the land of this earthquake. And right now the death toll is 42,000. That's just what's reported. There's no way. It's going to be more than that. In this area, and also, let me also remind myself to say this is not just Turkey, but it's Syria.
Right. Yes.
And unfortunately, this is the northeastern part of Syria where it's already been war torn. So there is no aid going over there. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. You don't even know where to put money for Syria. And even if they had money, how are they going to? There's no aid. I just read an article about a news reporter who was able to get there and see what's going on. And as he was going from Syria to Turkey, he said, like, crickets in Syria. There was nobody, there's no one there. And then as he's entering into Turkey, he couldn't even get anywhere because of the gridlock, because there's so much activity. But can you, I mean, I'm already heartbroken for Turkey, obviously, but it's just unspeakable. It's a fucking just a big grave site, you know? Girl, I don't even know. I mean, I didn't know if I could even do this interview because I realized that I have PTSD from this, even though I didn't see it firsthand. Yesterday or the 2 days ago, I went out to a cafe. I thought, okay, I just need to get some air. Everything was fine. I was working. I looked up. There was a boy and his mom walked in, and I didn't think anything. I started working and I looked up and I saw them eating, and he was big brown eyes, curly hair, and he was eating his börek with his left hand, and he looked really peaceful. His mom was sitting next to him. And then suddenly a big slab of concrete fell on him and he disappeared, and his mom starts screaming. And I'm like, oh my God. And I blinked my eyes and nothing had happened. He's there. They're safe. And I'm like, oh shit. I just imagined this. And then I was like, I shook it off and I went back to work and I just took a deep breath. Everything's fine. And then I got up to leave. And as I'm leaving, on my right side, there's this really cute, precious little Turkish girl, 4 years old, maybe, curly hair. And the sun was like shining that day and it was like making her hair glow. And then suddenly on the left-hand side, another slab of concrete just comes and just like demolishes her and the entire family, and they just disappeared. And I'm like, and I shook my head again and then opened my eyes, blinked really hard. And of course, they were fine. They were fine. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell? So I kept my eyes on the ground and I walked home very quickly. And I just didn't want to look at any more children. I didn't want to see any more children die in front of me. And I realized, oh my God, this is my own, like I'm dealing with trauma here. And then I came home and I started bawling. I've been bawling for days. And I'm not sharing this as like boohoo me. I'm sharing this as like, if this is what I'm experiencing, can you fucking imagine what they're going through over there? Just imagine. So they didn't even get aid for 3 or 4 days. Finally, there's news reporters out there. And for me, it hits different now, not just because I'm close, but I understand a bit of the language. So when they're talking and they're like hysterical and they're saying, nobody came for 3 or 4 days, the buildings are down. We can hear people screaming from the buildings. People were screaming. They needed help on the first day. The second day, they're screaming. The third day, the screaming stopped. The fourth day stopped. Fifth day, there's no screams anymore. I can understand what they're saying. And it's like, it's fucking unimaginable. There's no organization here. There's no infrastructure created. Even though there was an earthquake in 1999, people are saying no one learned from it. And
yeah, they said they arrested even like a builder.
Yeah, not one, there's several.
So several. Okay.
Yeah, there's some images you can see, like a whole group, a whole kind of complex of buildings just going down, and surrounding buildings are safe. They're not they shook, but they didn't crash. These buildings, some of them are only 3 years old. They're only
that's so crazy. And I also heard that people have been paying extra money so they could go in and make sure that these were safe and sturdy for earthquakes.
But they come out like something. There was even a hospital. Yeah, they inspected, and the inspection came out like it's not safe. It's not safe. Oh, but over here, you just have to keep moving forward. The government is not doing anything. This is what the Turks are complaining about.
And same as in Louisiana when the levees weren't built up the way they should have. I mean, but you can't fuck with Mother Nature. We can try. We can try to make everything, like the little pigs. Yeah. But when Mother Nature is pissed, and I also think when the energy of an area is stressed. Yeah. And you have the people all in negative energy, and the earth is affected just like we are. We're empaths. You're affected.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, on top of that, what I would say is that when the energy of the people is really unbalanced and there's a toxic energy and there's a lot of crime and there's a lot of taking an advantage of, people's resources, what's happening right now and why people are so pissed is that, yes, there's a natural disaster. These happen. There's going to be more earthquakes here. Okay. But the people that are dying as a result of the lack of organization, the lack of government, and because, for example, these buildings, instead of putting real cement, it was mixed in with basically sand to save money. That's why it went down. And a lot of people are here talking so much about, like in Japan, there was an earthquake, but those buildings didn't go down. Why? Because they were built properly. But over here, there's so much corruption, and God, I feel like someone's going to come in and just take me and put me in jail, to be honest. Like,
because you're talking about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anything that you want me to take out, I edit.
No, I'm only repeating what I'm seeing in the news and what people are like saying already.
There's corruption in every country. I mean,
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And you can get a sense of how frustrating it is. Like, we see what's broken, but it's like people here are powerless to even speak out and say something because out of fear of retaliation and what will happen. So point is, a lot of people are dead, a lot more than are being reported. And the way that so many of it's really interesting how my friends are describing these buildings. About 15,000 buildings went down.
What?
And 15,000. Try to even wrap your mind around that. 15,000.
No, we only see 2.
Oh, you're fucking kidding me, girl. No.
Where? I keep seeing the same 2, it seems.
Oh my God. No, 15,000 buildings, not 2, not 100, not 1,000. It's sick. And these buildings, they're not skyscrapers. Let's just say minimum, like usually buildings here about 6 floors. But this area, people live like in families. People here don't live individually. They don't go out and get their own apartment. Let's say minimally, there's like 6 floors and there's even just 2 apartments on each floor. The buildings are small. And there's a family of 3. That's like, for each floor, that's like 6 people times. It's like, I mean, very minimum. That's like 35 to 50 people per building. And you multiply that by 15,000. I mean, it's just astronomical, the number of people. It's already been estimated that it's probably going to be about 100,000 that are accounted for. And that's just the people that are dead. A friend of mine just told me about his friend. He has a friend who lost 50 of his friends and family. I mean, that's more like you can wrap your mind around that a little bit more, but it doesn't make it any easier. I mean, you just lost 50 of you just lost your whole network like that is close to you. There are stories of people losing their entire family or half of their family. There's stories of survival, but okay, the mother and the second daughter survive, but the son and the father and the 2 sons are gone.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Kat, how can we help?
There's an organization called ABAP that I've been sharing, and I will share the link with you, AHBAP, and I'll send it to you. Be very careful with who you're sending donations to, but this is one way. This is going to be years and years. This is not going to be just do it for 1 month type of thing. The number of displaced are going into the millions right now. 1 to 2 million right now have lost their homes. So what's happening now is they've shut down the colleges across the whole country, even in Istanbul, because they have nowhere to go. Their land is gone. You can't rebuild on this right now. So they have nowhere to go. So they're shutting down the universities for another semester. And so they're going to shut them down, the dorms, and open them up to the displaced through the summer. This is also causing a lot of angst for the college students because they just got back to school after COVID. People who are here are just absolutely distressed and they don't know how to deal with it. They need to be together. They need the social interaction. Yet,
oh my God. I mean, I know in Louisiana, FEMA was there for years. People were displaced, and that's with organization.
That's with organization. There's no organization. That's the general consensus I'm getting from every Turk, every friend. They're so frustrated because there's no organization. Because I keep asking, well, what's going to happen next? What's the plan? There's nothing. There's no plan. There's no plan. That's the thing. There's no plan.
I did see that the UN gave $1 billion.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the morning or reason.
The beautiful thing that, and I'm just repeating what my friends are saying.
Yes.
The beautiful thing that they are seeing and we are seeing is all the different countries that are coming together, sending aid, even countries that were traditionally at odds with.
I heard even Ukraine, who's in war.
Right. Yes. Ukraine, Israel, Greece, they sent over people, and they're just, the people here are so touched by it, so touched. South Korea, my country where I'm originally from, we have a very close tie. We're considered blood countries, blood brothers. Because Turks sent their soldiers to Korean War. So there's a real special bond between us.
I didn't know that.
There's so for me, there's a real, this is not like I'm just here just for fun. I'm really connecting with this culture, the people, they're amazing. And I'm crying with them. I'm I'm hurting with them. Yesterday I was trying to prepare for this interview and I couldn't because it forced me to look at some of the news, and I didn't think I would be able to do this. I almost messaged you and I was going to tell you I can't do it.
Well, I thank you so much I think, and you did a beautiful job.
Oh, thank you.
What you've shared is so raw and real. And I wouldn't expect anything less from Kat Kim. And I knew you would bring this authentic passion for this country that is in such need. And I will definitely post this organization that we know is safe and is legit to safely, and they need help. And I saw your post on Instagram. I mean, you're like, even $5, whatever, a long way for
$5. $5. Consider 25. Consider donating 25, but even $5, it goes a long way here. This is going to be a long-term thing. But it's not like $5 in America. We can do something with $5 here. But consider 25, consider 25. That would be amazing. Your dollars in America, like, talk about leveraging the dollar. You can leverage the dollar. You can make a difference. You can send something. And every time I tell my Turkish friends that America wants to help, they're so touched. They're so extremely touched and grateful by the showing of support from all over the world. By the way, this is going to be about my friend just told me, $80 billion to recover. $80 billion to recover from this. The donations and everything so far probably will be minimum 6, maximum 7 or 8 billion. So this is the magnitude of this earthquake and how much we're going to have to continue into the future and recover from this. But
and like you said, they don't get hit again.
And there are reports are saying that they will, and this time it's going to be Istanbul. Istanbul was hit in 1999. So they're saying in, I don't know, 10, 20 years, but these are reports and who knows?
Oh my God, be safe.
Yeah. Thank you.
Be safe, and God bless your heart. You're so amazing. I love to see your face, and I appreciate you coming on, sharing this. And those poor people, I'll be praying for them. And I hope that, that are listening will also say a prayer and send whatever you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can touch base again anytime you want. I'm also here for you. You are so amazing. Thank you so much.
God bless you. Have a good night.
Okay. Right. Bye.
I appreciate Kat coming on and sharing and raising awareness of this crisis that the Turks and the Syrian people are faced with. If you find it in your heart to donate, there's a link in the show notes, or you could write down right now the website that is reputable that Kat suggests is ahbap.org/disasters-Turkey. These people are displaced in grief. They are cold and hungry, and it's going to be a long road. So if you find it in your heart to donate, the website again is ahbap.org. $5, $25 will go a long way. So thank you so much. And please say a prayer for all that is affected. I would like to thank you and our special guest for being with me today. If you like what you hear, don't forget to rate, like, and subscribe. And visit my website at www.mysenseofsoul.com. That's mysenseofsoul.com. I hope that you will join me next time. Thanks for listening.